What was your plan in life before plants and how did it change? I love both of your beautiful souls and your humor. Aww. Your vibe with each other is really special. Could watch, listen to you guys all day long. Well,
good luck with that.
well, challenge accepted.
I know. We'll be here for a while.
Let's just do a 24/7 live stream.
I thought about that, spending 24 hours, staying the night in the greenhouse. Like, not yours, clearly, because we wouldn't fit, but mine. Imagine, like, putting up swags and sleeping in the greenhouse overnight.
Why? Like, what's
It'd
the
be fun. Oh. It's a challenge.
It would only make fun of, like, Mr. Beast gives me $1 million at the end.
I was about to say, if every one of your followers gave us, like, $2, that would be a great challenge. We can raise money for some foundation.
My house. Oh.
So I was a nanny for 10 years before this.
But was that the plan? Like, or was that a means to an end?
Acting.
Oh.
Yeah, so I went to acting school, went to two different acting schools.
Like theatre, movies, television?
Bit of both.
Okay.
And I worked behind the camera as well. So I did multiple courses doing that. I went to NIDA. Modelling and did that full time for a while.
Nice. Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen the raunchy beach bikini shots, and some of them there was no bikini.
Who'd have thought? No, there wasn't. What are you talking about?
I just fished and see if you take the bait.
I'd still love to do it, but in different facets now. It wouldn't so much be.
I always
maybe
wanted presenting. Yeah, hosting. I would love to do that. I think for me, I would love to do that. I don't know, for me, I mean, going through high school and everything, I was always really good at school. And I really liked all sciencey stuff. I loved chemistry.
I loved science.
I wanted to become a chemist. But then I was like...
My teacher told me I couldn't do it, I'm too dumb.
No, I was smart enough, for sure. But,
you were smarty pants.
But I was like, that would be so boring. Like, I don't think my personality would... I would enjoy it, but I don't think my personality would thrive in a lab environment.
You'd have to find the niche part of it that would suit yarn.
Yes.
And have the yarnness in it.
But I was like, I feel like I don't want to study that further because it would be very, very niche.
It's very intense.
No, then I did 2 gap years and I really enjoyed my hospitality time. And I was like, you know what?
I did hospitality too.
I'm going to become... But I really wanted to be like, I want to like... own like a restaurant or a cafe and like do like really nice vegan food and so on. Like I really wanted to do that, and I still always want to do that.
Interesting fact: growing grounds. I came up with the name because I like plants and coffee. So a lot of people don't realize growing and coffee grounds.
Oh yeah, fair enough. I thought it was more like the grounds to grow on, like the grounds of Alexandria.
That's kind of what it's turned into.
Yeah, fair enough. And I studied business management, and I always wanted to be a business consultant. As in, like, I always wanted to look at... I then thought, oh, maybe I could become a hospitality business consultant, right? Where I go into hospitality businesses, I look at their operating rhythm, I look at their margins and so on, blah, blah, blah.
If you don't know, Australia has some of the biggest, like, groups that, like, conquer most hospitality here in Australia.
Yeah.
I worked for Merivale.
Yeah.
Did you work for Merivale?
No.
I did. I worked for Merivale in multiple different venues for a while.
I think in Australia, everything is kind of like a monopoly or duopoly. It's just like, oh, all restaurants are owned by these 2 groups.
Yeah, pretty much.
All supermarkets are owned by these 2 groups. You know what I mean? Not a good thing from an economics perspective. Works for the 2 groups, not for anybody else. Yeah. But I always... major imposter syndrome. I was like, well, I'm bloody 24. Who's going to hire me as any consultant to anything? Like, I haven't done anything in life that I can consult people on. I know I'm good with people and I can explain concepts to people, but I need to know shit as well.
Darling, you fake it till you make it.
Yeah, but I'm not fake it till you make it.
No, you actually are the real deal. So if anyone
I'm totally not fake it till I make it. I need to, by the time I have the confidence to actually go out and advertise something, I'm very good at it. You know what I mean? Like,
you want to know it all.
I'm not going to go out there with like half the knowledge and pretend I have all of it. I'm going to go out there with 100% of the knowledge, pretending I know 75% and then exceed the expectations.
Guess how I survived in this world? I just...
Lying.
guessed my way through everything pretty much.
Yeah, but I think with plants it's also like low stakes. But come on, you can't go somewhere and be like, I'm going to be a business
there was
consultant.
plenty of stuff before plants.
Yeah, fair enough.
I remember when I went for my RSA. Somehow I got it. I still guessed.
But yeah, and then obviously
acting school. Here's your script. ADHD, dyslexia. Read the first 2 words. Guess the rest. Still passed.
it's called improv.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Improvisation.
Yeah, and then I worked
funny.
in finance for 6.
It's still crazy though. I've known you while you've been working your last job,
6 years,
and
yeah.
you just don't seem your job. Because you know when you see someone,
Yeah.
and you're like, you're
Is it because I don't wear a vest? Like a puffer vest? That's so finance.
No,
And my name is not Tony.
I think
or like,
you.
like
Tony.
John. Actually, we had so many Johns. Yeah, so that's it.
What was the question?
But
again?
you know what we would have done if it wasn't for plants?
I definitely still would have done something based around social media and
Despite all of the things that I just said, I also have always been very, very involved in social media.
Yeah, same.
Even like before Facebook.
on my personal Instagram, yeah.
Before Facebook even, there were some small German communities like
Yes,
growing up
you
in
told
Germany,
me
you know,
this.
and I told you, and I was actually, I don't remember what it was called, but you were able to vote people. It was so not politically correct. It would never fly these days. Basically, you get 2 people shown, and then you vote which one is hotter. And then you move on to the next one. And I was emo back then, right? And I had like really cool hair and whatever. And I was number
so tonight
one in...
will be the night.
Oh God, tonight will be the night. I was
Over
number one
again.
in fucking hot points.
Don't make me change my mind.
Oh, did you see the reel where like all millennials will like instantly know this and they just play one note on the piano?
Yeah, it was small thing.
When I was
that
a young boy, my father. Yeah, so I did that. Then I went on Lookbook. I don't know if you actually. I had this lookbook that was basically
before Facebook.
Lookbook. Basically, you go there and you upload your outfit of the day. That was like before Instagram didn't exist.
It was kind of like Pinterest.
Yeah, similar, but you
remember.
literally actually link the items that you have. So you're like shoes from here, and then people can also vote and whatever. And I did like not amazing over there, but I did fine for like a teenager. Everybody else was like a grown person. Private Instagram, I did. Now private Instagram. I used to do like drone photography. Like I wanted to be like a bit of a travel
I noticed that, by the way.
person. And
We're
like
not friends on your private one.
Really? Yeah, I never go on there. I was never hesitant to upload things on social media.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. Social media was always a big part, but I would have never really thought I'll actually be like a influencer.
I didn't think it was going to get like this crazy.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I remember when you got to like 180-ish.
Yeah.
I was like, you'd be lucky to get to 200,000. And like next minute you're at nearly 500,000.
No, I think 450 now.
Yeah, but that's gone from 4 to 450. He's gone fast.
Yeah, there was this one that gave
But I reckon you'll get to 500. Like definitely before the end of the year for
but
sure.
Instagram is so like followers don't mean anything anyway.
Just do it. Instagram, you joking?
Huh?
Instagram is so hard to get followers now.
Yeah, but they also don't mean anything. I really want to get on you. I want to get a golden play button. I think once I got a golden play button on YouTube, I think then I give up. Like that's just it. I'm like done.
Then I retired too.
But yeah, I never really thought this would happen. So that's kind of cool.
I'm proud of you.
But I think this is the cool thing. Like if you're it's like when you go out there and you're so desperate to be in a relationship, you settle for anybody really because you just like the idea of being in a relationship. Whereas if you're not looking and then suddenly somebody sweeps you off your feet, you're like, holy shit, I wasn't even looking. So for somebody actually to come and fill that non-existent void, like you must actually be really good. And I think it's the same with jobs. It's like I never wanted to do that, but the fact that it actually just organically happened.
I can't believe you went from not wanting to even put your voice on the online
to not shutting up.
To just talking forever.
Thanks.
About good things. About all good things. Even in the beginning, I thought, like there's like what not negatively, by the way. I'm just because I always think about how I need to do it and I want to do things. I'm like, I feel like I'll run out of things to say. Maybe you felt like that at one point.
Yes.
About plants, I feel like you went through a bit of a moment where you were at a point where you're like, I don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, it just took off again.
But when I first did YouTube, it was really just, let's just put my knowledge in a video so I don't have to message people all the time. I don't have to repeat it over and over again.
But it's a huge reason why I still haven't put too much information out there myself, because I'm just too exhausted to answer all the questions.
Usually when you put information out there, you get even more questions.
You get so many more questions.
But that's a good thing, because that means you're never going to run out of content. Plus, people change. Like, you know what I mean? This time last year, I would have had 100,000. So what about the other 100,000?
Yeah.
They're not necessarily going back 2 years and watching
No,
everything,
exactly.
So
I think it's different for me now. I think when I wanted to do it, it was very overwhelming. I think because you were getting overwhelmed with like how crazy it was.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, I'm like, well, if you're overwhelmed, I'm going to die. I'm not going to survive this.
Yeah, I think I have high capacity for stress.
Yeah.
And I felt overwhelmed.
You're better at it than me, that's for sure.
The videos, obviously, I always wanted to be like some sort of educational element. Let's call it element, you know what I mean?
I mean,
but
each video is.
I used to think the educational element must be like me preparing like a PowerPoint presentation and telling you exactly what's happening, which is kind of like, because I didn't really understand it myself 100%. You know what I mean? Actually, me needing to verbalize all of these things and explain it made me realize so many things much better. And now I think, first and foremost, I just want to bring across the joy that plants bring me as well. And like, just, you know, like get people motivated and also make people feel less stressed about it. Like sometimes it's just this whole like, oh my God, I saw a mealybug and this leaf is yellow and like I have so much anxiety and I'm so void. And it's like,
the amount of times,
just, you know, relax. I want to bring
emails.
Yeah.
I just opened my box that's full of white packing peanuts, and I think there's a mealy on my planner, and I can 99.9% guarantee you it's just a bit of fluff from the packing medium. I said, just get an old makeup brush or a toothpick and just flick it off. If you see a little bit of orange, then yes, it's a mealy. If there's nothing, and then I never hear an email back because of course it is. Like, people just get so stressed straight away, and I'm like, it's not meant to be a stressful thing. It's meant to enjoy it.
Fun. It's meant to, you know. So I think that's where and that's why I think I'm not running out of content, because you can't ever have enough fun. You can't have enough joy. You know what I mean? You're not just like, I already laughed yesterday, I don't need to laugh again. Yeah. It's like, no, you can laugh every day. Aww. So I think that's. Oh, that was cute,
you're
right?
Just a happy chappy.
That was cute. Hey, Jan and AJ. Has AJ noticed shifts in plant trends? What plant people want? Are there some plants that seem to be consistently in demand? Let's ignore pricing.
It's really cool because the industry I work in, and I mean, I'm like I said, I perfect indoor plants. That's what I do. Like, that's my niche. I'm lucky because the wholesalers I go to, they don't necessarily stick to that one niche either. I mean, they're a wholesaler, they kind of have to adapt and have stuff for everyone. So I get to kind of see not only, I mean, if we talk plants in general, there are ups, peaks and troughs and everything. And a lot of the changes really depend on the climate we have had or the year we've had. Like, for example, a year ago, we had no, not this summer, last summer I think it was. Actually, I don't remember.
We had a lot of really wet summers.
Yeah, we had a summer where it was dead set, or a spring, I would say. Maybe it was this spring that just passed. That was 8 weeks of straight rain, not one day where it stopped. No breaks, nothing.
That wasn't this spring. This spring was really hot, really early. We already hit 35 in September. It must have been the last
one then. And that really depicted what was available. Like alocasias, colocaceas, and nothing was like growing. Nothing was flowering. Like, it was crazy. It was bonkers. And crotons, I know some people love them. I know you don't. I know some people love them. They were nowhere to be seen last season. This season, everywhere. You know, the ones we saw today, yesterday, sorry. Yeah. Everywhere. People are loving them. They want them in their gardens again because
I see them in the garden.
Yeah, so that mass amount of moisture killed off plants. Therefore, that makes more demand because people want them again. Yeah. I guess that's like environmental.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
Fair enough.
Environmental, because just like with wholesalers, like, you know, tube stock or TC, wholesaler, retailer, environmental, where you live in the world, that kind of is the same thing as to what's going to be good or popular or not available. And then that's going to kind of tweak the market, I guess.
Maybe we can judge a little bit by the collector's plant fair as well, because I mean, obviously those are sellers.
Oh God, it changed so much this year.
Right, like this year, I mean, even last year already, I reckon like there's just so many more aeroids, right? Like,
and there were even people there that weren't doing aeroids last
before
year.
that are now doing aeroids. Like,
because they knew that was the only way to make money.
Like, there was like succulent stores that also just have a couple of trays of aeroids there, because why not? Like, why not? I mean, it's not a bad thing.
You need to adapt. People need to adapt.
But I mean, that's just a demand and supply thing. They wouldn't come with all of these plants if they don't think they can sell all of them.
But it's definitely a seasonal thing. Like, for example, Collector's Plant Fair, end of autumn. As much as I like alocasias and colocacias and caladiums and stuff like that, you could only have ones that are hardy enough to last into the cooler seasons. Whereas if we had Collector's Plant Fair in spring, that would be a different story. We would be covered in beautiful, colourful things because everything's, you know, all the perennials are coming back. Like, yeah. So, we'll see.
Maybe something happens.
Things might change in the future.
But obviously, we are still, in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to plants, you are very niche, I'm very niche. We are living in Australia, which is really small, so probably hard to say.
I have no choice.
I mean, the question was about you, not necessarily in general. It was about if you noticed it, right? Hang on.
I notice it every week.
Yeah.
Every week I have to...
Turn this, right?
Every week I have to be very smart about what I purchase. It's like any retail store, right?
I think also in general, people, because obviously the pricing in general has come down, people, even if there's a new release of something, people aren't throwing themselves at the new release of plants because they know that they're all coming out of tissue culture. I think 2-3 years ago, tissue culture was more frowned upon. Now tissue culture is very much appreciated because everybody can now buy these plants that used to be like thousands of dollars. Now you can get them for $30
100%.
due to tissue culture. But people understand tissue culture better and they're like, well, I'm not going to buy this now because I know that the market is going to be flooded in about 3 months' time, potentially. I really enjoy how your love for plant care makes it easy for you to teach all of us. My question is, have any of your Adansonias ever bloomed for you? If so, what helps encourage them to bloom? Mine have.
I haven't grown one.
Yeah. Mine had 8 inflows last year. And I was so keen to see them develop because I cut off inflows, but with my Adansonia, I was like, oh, this is really cool.
Is that what made it? Oh no.
And it absolutely, after 8, and I mean, I let one develop and then I saw it and I was like, okay, now I'm going to cut all of them off. So I cut all of them off. And then afterwards, it just went basically back to juvenile.
It's looking good now.
Yeah, I cut it heaps of times. I'm doing a video on it. But yeah, definitely, it was not worth it. My second question was, what helps encourage them to bloom? Maturity and definitely light. It bloomed over when I was at the other place and it got a lot of direct sun through a huge west-facing window. So it always got direct afternoon sun and that definitely, I think, encouraged it to
it was one of the
flower.
It was, front and center, that one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was right there. So, big fan of the channel. Thank you. If you were forced to only have one plant and no others, what would that be? My initial reaction would be Verrucosum because it's my favorite plant. But if it wouldn't be if I can only have one, because once
can I have two? Can we?
No, one. Because once the Verrucosum is on a downward spiral, it's a lot of work to get it back up to thriving. And if you if you can only have one, then I want that plant to be easygoing. So I would choose my Adansonia.
So I have one pole with 2 plants on it then. That's what I would do.
Okay.
It would be Melanochrysum and Philodendron patriciae, like on the same pole.
I have been making D-shaped moss poles along with the regular round moss poles. I do shove a strip of plastic inside the back half of those to retain moisture a little bit better. Question is, are there certain types of plants that benefit more from one style or another? Lately, I've been stuck overthinking don't overthink. I can already tell by this question you're 100% overthinking it. While trying to decide which plants to put on which style pole, because I really don't want to realize I chose the wrong one in the future.
That's the whole point, though.
And have to go through all of the mess.
That's the whole point, though. You've got to learn the hard way sometimes.
No, this one I think we can...
Bit of both.
I think in this one... Okay, you answer first and then I'll answer.
My answer, and this is what I say to customers all the time, I'm like, I can guide you into what I found that works the best for my situation, but that doesn't mean it's going to work the best for you. That's like a blanket statement. But if I was to go a little bit deeper, like for example, Philodendron melanochrysum, one of my favorites, I would never recommend putting that on a pole without plastic and without bark. But that's because I'm in a greenhouse. I have cross ventilation like nothing else. Things dry out fairly quickly. I would use, so I've got them on the big fatty longs now. I don't have them on small poles, but I would always use sphagnum moss, regardless of how much I hate it, because its roots are a lot finer, I find, than any other phyllos. Very similar to verrucosum.
Verrucosum is by far the worst.
I mean, it's the worst, but it's similar where it loves the moisture, right? So, but then yarn, you've got them inside without the plastic backing, but you're inside. So you've got, like, there's no wind here.
No, there's usually airflow. I mean,
there's airflow
it's
still.
Cold. In summer, the door's always open though.
But when I have both those doors open, which is like 3 days a week,
right?
you see all the leaves going, and like it's dry.
I actually want to work on a video where I go a little bit more structured, and I actually want to put like a little Excel spreadsheet together with criteria and different types of supports, and then give it like a traffic light system, like a heat map, you know, like green, obviously all based on my opinion.
Kind of
I really want to do that.
Care tags that you see when you
kind of just like, so for me personally, there's a few criteria that I choose. First of all is aesthetic preference. If you have the round moss pole, you can grow 360 degrees around the moss pole. So if your moss pole is more in the middle of a room, or it is visible from all sides, like the ones I have by the window over here, some leaves are facing us into the room.
Full out.
Yeah, some. I don't think they can really. They can maybe see it a little bit in frame, but like some leaves are facing us into the room. Some leaves are facing out to the window, because obviously that's where the plant wants to face.
Yeah,
right?
But there's some still in here, which is nice.
Yeah, exactly. But that means, like, you know, it creates a nice 360 degree display. You can never get that with a plastic back pole.
No,
full stop.
Mr. Adansonio over there. He looks great in the corner.
He's stuck in the corner.
Yeah.
All of your plants are stuck up against the wall.
Yeah.
So nobody gets to see the back of the pole anyway. So it doesn't really matter. So first of all, how many plants are you going to put on there? Whereabouts is the pole going to be? Is it going to be 360 or what not?
So you think of it more of an aesthetic, whereas I think of it more of like, how can we grow this quickly, beautifully?
Yeah, because you're a business and you want to move on stock, whereas I'm using plants to decorate my apartment with.
But I still
plastic is just not that pretty. Plastic is just not that pretty.
And I mean, look, let's face it, the whole idea of a growing apparatus isn't that pretty. It would be more ideal if you had a beautiful big garden with trees and you're growing your trees, but not everyone has that ability to have that.
It needs to be a balance between functionality and aesthetics, and that's why I like the round moss poles without the plastic. But I have some of the round moss poles outside, and I just put plastic in there because airflow, and sun dries them out a bit quicker. So where I'm just like, well, they're actually up against the fence anyway, so I'm not going to...
That helps as well,
Yeah,
too.
exactly. So, but then also the plant in itself, for example, my Monstera deliciosa over here, because roots also love oxygen. So they don't actually mind having the improved aeration. You just need to stay on top of the watering.
Yeah, I remember when I was taking care of one of yours, and you had it on the Grow Vertical with the plastic backing, but you had aroid mix in it. Yeah. Oh my God, it was so happy.
Yeah.
So happy.
Because it loves the aeration of the aroid mix, but with moss and then the plastic backing, you might actually end up getting the fungus gnats issue that I never have. But some people say like, oh, so many fungus gnats. Maybe because it doesn't have enough aeration, right? So I think there's a few factors that play into it. Yeah. But first and foremost, I think your personal aesthetic preference, and then your willingness to do watering. Yeah. I don't mind flipping a bottle upside down every 2 days, every 3 days, every 4 days, every 5 days.
Bear in mind, you can do that on
whatever depends. You can do it on both.
You can do
the technique is the same. The only thing is that if you know you travel a lot, or if you have children and you say, I have only time to water on a Saturday, that's it. Doesn't matter. Yep. then maybe plastic backing, right? Because what's the point in having a beautiful looking pole where the plant isn't happy on? Then you're better off going with the suboptimal aesthetic, but it actually works, you know?
Yeah.
So there is no right or wrong. That's why I want to
preference.
do a bit of a heat map and be like, well, what criteria is important to you? If aesthetic is important to you, then
It's like, I can just imagine, like, you're going to have so many. I don't know how to do a multi-graph. Like,
that's why you do a heat map, girl. Don't worry, when I show you...
I know what you mean.
No. It's just like, you basically have criteria. Like over here, you would say, like, these are the criteria. So, like, aesthetic, watering frequency, aeration, what sort of root system does the plant have? The shittier
And you'd
the root.
see, like,
and then at the
red.
top is like, at the top over there is like the different types of poles, like a trellis, cocoa coir, grow vertical. And then you say like, okay, a grow vertical, like a plastic back pole, aesthetics, red. It's not good, right?
Yeah.
But like a tree, like iron bark, aesthetics green.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But functionality, red.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of choose.
I like that idea.
Yeah. AJ,
Yes.
what advice would you or I have for aspiring entrepreneurs?
Just start. Just get out there and start.
Don't wait for perfection, because
No.
that's what stopped me doing it for so long. I was just
that's what's
waiting
still-
until it's perfect.
That's what's
And,
still stopping me.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously my business it's doing great. That social media, I get fairly anxious, but do not take that as any influence.
Yeah.
For your business side of things, just start. If there's something I can actually just say, if you don't know much about business, definitely do a little bit of a class.
Yes, I was about
Yeah.
to say, can I please
Go.
do a SWOT analysis?
Yeah.
Do a SWOT analysis. Please assess the market. If you're doing something that somebody else is already doing, how are you going to set yourself apart?
Yeah.
What's unique to you? You know, you want to have a unique service offering. Otherwise, you'll just end up competing with similar businesses over price. And all you guys going to do is you're just going to outprice each other. And then everybody's business is going to fail.
Yeah.
And we're going to run out of battery. Hang on a moment, please. Obviously, make sure that you enjoy what you're doing, but you can't not think about the business side of things. You'll put a lot of time and effort into this. Make sure that make sure you think it through thoroughly. Before you just do it, right? And especially with, like I think a lot of plant businesses, I'm assuming we are talking about a plant business as well, just because like there was a surge in pricing back in COVID and everybody was like, oh my God, I can buy a plant, propagate it into 5 bits and then sell each bit for the amount that I bought the original plant for.
It doesn't always work that way.
I can make 500% profit really, really quickly. What if that's no longer the case? Or what if you bought a plant and it dies and you don't, you know what I mean?
Also, popularity, I don't know. It's a harsh thing to say.
Just because your business is viable right now does not mean it's viable in the future. So you want to look into, I really like this, I don't know if I'm delusional or not, look into Blue Ocean Strategy. I think Blue Ocean Strategy, everybody who goes into business should know about Blue Ocean Strategy and making sure that you have a sustainable competitive advantage over over other businesses in that field. Ideally, there are no other businesses in that field. Ideally, you do something that is different to what other people do.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that you need to have a brand new product. Let's say, for example, on YouTube, I personally, and I could be wrong, there could be people that have been doing this many times, many years or whatever, but I think my competitive advantage over other people that do similar things on YouTube is that I actually have the proof. You know what I mean? I actually have the plant. I don't just have the plant.
Everything.
I only went onto YouTube after I've already documented all of my plant journey over many years. So by the time I started YouTube, I was like, hey, this is how small the plant was.
Yeah.
And then I showed you the whole progress.
I was really amazed when you did your first before and after, and I can't remember what it was for, but you were showing when you started first growing it. And I'm like, how did you know to video all this stuff? And you were just like, I video everything.
I just literally videoed everything, not knowing it's ever going to turn into a YouTube video eventually.
Well, I think you kind of did it a little bit too for Instagram. So
for Instagram, I had a lot of because I did Instagram for so long. But I think that was kind of like my blue ocean. You know what I mean? Nobody was doing these really detailed before and afters, these videos that show you the full progress, not just, hey, today I'm potting up my Monstera and then come back next year if you want to see if it survived. It's like this instant gratification of like, I'm not just showing you what I do, I also show you how it turned out, and then I tell you what I learned from it. And I think that it was my blue ocean.
Yeah, because not a lot of people were like documenting it that well.
Well, I have videos that I started recording over a year ago, and you have not seen any of this yet. You know what I mean? They're just sitting there on this hard drive waiting to...
The El Choco.
Yeah.
El Choco took ages.
A year. And I started a lot of these videos, right? So it takes a lot of foresight, and patience, you know what I mean? If I just need content now, that doesn't work.
I have another good point too.
So that's also, like, I filmed 2 videos every week on top of filming videos that you haven't seen yet, you know what I mean? So I actually filmed like 3-4 videos every week, but I only released 2 of them.
To add, he used to film on his iPhone. So another big thing that I would recommend, which is what I did as well, start with what you've got. You don't need to have everything.
Don't worry so much about the equipment.
I think it's super important to still have, you know, make sure you got your ABN and make sure you understand how your tax works. There's a lot of things that I didn't even really think about, and I put on the back burner for far too long. Now that's all sorted out. I feel very accomplished and like an adult.
Good on you.
But like little things like that, I think going with what Jan said is make sure you at least get familiar with like the skeleton of a business.
Yeah, the rules.
Small business, the rules.
And just because you made $1,000 does not mean that this is not $1,000 profit. You know what I mean? Understand the difference between revenue, profit.
Be flexible. Don't like mold yourself into one. This is what I'm going to do. It's always going to be like this. It's not going to happen. I think when I first started, I just wanted to be niche. I didn't want to do online. I remember actually, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I remember I used to tell friends, I don't ever want to have a website. If I'm going to do a plant business, I know.
I was like, I never ever want to have a YouTube. Oops.
If I want to do a plant business, it'll be face to face. I don't want to get caught up on that online stuff. You have to go with the flow. You have to change. You can't just stay the same forever. That's when businesses just die. Have a friend close by when it's a shit day. Like, I'm really grateful for Alex. I had Alex by my side. She has a small business as well with plants. I'm grateful for Jan being there on days when I'm like, I gotta go get a job at Uber.
There was a time when you literally called me because you were superstitious that while you're on the phone with me, you get orders coming through because we spend so much time on the phone. You're like, oh my god, I got another order. We need to stay on the phone.
But realistically, it was just like I wasn't watching my phone 24/7, and then I was getting orders. I was you'll go through so many
Don't be so harsh on yourself.
Yeah, don't be harsh on yourself. You're going through so much change.
Yeah, exactly. All right, next question. Your top 10 plants to start as a beginner. Let's do 5 each, alternating. You say one, then I say one.
Well, Philodendron melanochrysum. I think it's a great one.
To start as a beginner?
Well, okay.
Like, I'm assuming as a beginner, you want low effort, high reward.
Okay, scratch that. Let's start again. If I'm going beginner, but also a little bit fancy, I would go Philodendron billiete.
Yep, good one.
Billietiae.
I don't know however.
Billietiae.
I would say a good old pothos.
Yeah.
Marble Queen, Mandula, or any Orium.
And grow it however you want. Just please do not grow it over your kitchen window.
Yes, please don't
and then into
turn
your bedroom.
it into this.
Into your bathroom.
Yeah, it should.
No, you can grow it however you want.
Yeah, however you want, but keep it in one room at a time. Looking at you.
I would then pick like some sort of Ficus elastica. So ruby.
Yeah, it's a good one. I like that.
Just the green version, Shiverana. They're quite nice.
Monstera Deliciosa. Yeah. Come on, that's an easy one. Yeah.
I think we all had one of them starting off. Where they ended up, who knows?
Who knows? I don't have. Mine ended up in Tim's garden.
Yeah, mine ended up in my mum's garden actually. Okay, so next one. Just trying to think. Some of the ones that I had when I first started out. Because I always like to recommend a starter plant, but something that's got a little bit of pizzazz in it, you know?
Yeah, you still want it to be nice. You just don't want to... If it's just easy but ugly, what's the point?
I know. What else would I pick? maybe just a heartleaf philodendron, super simple, super similar to
like
Epipremnum.
a Brazil.
But like a Brazil, or just like a green version, or like a Goldilocks, I think we call it as our nickname, which is a yellow heartleaf. I think they're quite nice. So you're up to 8.
Scindapsus.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there is. I was literally. Every time we talk, my eyes keep going.
Because they also just don't need that much light. They're never going to go super huge, so you don't need to necessarily aim for like ginormous leaves on a moss pole. Just have it hanging, very rewarding.
They're super similar to
I think they're nice.
I feel like you're going to say something and I'm like, damn it. But there's so many plants that I first started off with, which I'm just like, I should not have started off with this plant.
Yes, but I think Cebu Blue is a good one because you can grow it as a climber.
Okay,
but you can also
I'm not thinking outside the box here. I'm thinking about when I first started. Cebu Blue wasn't around back then. It's another Epipremnum, right? Mandula.
Yes, but that's actually Epipremnum aureum, technically.
I mean, well.
But we let it slide.
Cebu Blue. Okay, we got 2 more.
Let it slide. I think Monstera siltepecana, either the regular form, or if you can get your hands on it, the El Salvador, which is apparently not very common outside of Australia.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I'm like, what the?
Oh, okay.
But it's so rewarding, easy to go. You can.
I know another one, Ripsalis. Oh, Ripsalis any day. But still people manage to kill it with kindness. Ripsalis just want to be left alone, like to the point of dehydration.
Let's say, for example, you want to have some velvets. I think Splendid or Glorious make a great starter plant.
Majestic. That's so easy.
Yeah, but it's not velvet.
No, but like I'm just thinking.
Actually, I don't like Majestic. Really I don't think Majestic is as easy as Splendid or Glorious.
Really? Mm-hmm. I just think because it's non-velvet. Velvets tend to be a little bit...
but not just Splendid.
On the shitty side with bugs. Yeah, no. I'm not saying they're not easy. They're just more prone to bugs.
Yeah, fair enough.
The velvets.
What is one challenge you totally didn't expect to face with your businesses and one unexpected positive? I honestly didn't expect the production to be that intense.
I didn't expect to have more stuff for my business than I do personal stuff.
Yeah.
I swear.
The amount of space it takes up, yeah. Actually, just space.
Picture this layout. My bedroom. Nothing else in there. Where my pets sleep. Okay.
And the bed.
Got a cat room. Kind of fancy, but it keeps them safe. Lounge room. Always got plants in it. Sunroom. Full of plants. Kitchen. Full of plants.
Garden full of plants. Yeah.
But not like a pretty display of plants. I'm talking about crates of seedlings.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
functional
boxes full of grow verticals. GT in the hallway. Like it's freaking everywhere. But I live in Sydney. I'm in the city. I don't have a shed. I don't know where to store this stuff. My house is getting taken over.
And the whole reason why your business survives is because you don't have the overhead of having a separate business. So
which I would love to have.
Yeah.
Trust me.
But then the business probably wouldn't exist anymore.
No, we're still in this. I'm still being very cautious. I'm still being very cautious in growing in certain directions.
I think for me, a challenge I wasn't necessarily expecting to face is... I mean, it's kind of dumb thinking back that I didn't expect that to face, but like the continuous battle with the bloody algorithm kind of. It doesn't matter how many followers or subscribers you have, each piece of content is still always treated like brand new. You know what I mean?
It's so bizarre.
And you still need to convince people that like to watch it, which is obviously not a bad thing because it makes me put more effort into each piece of content.
One thing about social media is it's such a good platform to grow your business, but oh my God, it is a terrible, terrible platform for your mental health. That platform, any of them.
And we are only talking about plants, which is really cute. Imagine you're actually being like a political activist or environmental advocate.
Like we're really lucky with our...
What's the word? You know what I mean.
Activist.
Exactly. Everything. Honestly, every piece of content that gets suggested to me that is not planty, let's say, I always go to the comment section and everybody gets absolutely shredded into bits.
Yeah, currently I wouldn't say currently, I think this woman's been on TikTok and her partner for a long time. You would have seen her pop up. She's a bigger girl, full girl, like me. And her husband is very into fitness. And the internet will not
allow them to be together. Yeah,
will not leave them alone.
Fucking hell.
And Every now and then you see her pop up on like those stupid news reports saying that she's trying to address this and make break the stigma. How many times can you do that?
How many times do you need to break the stigma? And it's like also
So
like why does
upsetting.
everybody care? But that's also why I'm getting more open in person. I mean, we are sitting here very relaxed and we're talking about a lot of things that people could technically shred us into bits for if they really want to.
Yeah.
But that's also why I'm very much against sharing more about my private life, where it's just like I don't need your judgment on who I'm dating, who I'm not dating, what we're doing, what we're not doing. You know what I mean?
I think we're too old for that now too.
Yeah,
Also, I feel like
I don't need
we
that.
don't also have I don't think we have the pressure or the audience to pressure us with that kind of stuff. Whereas the younger generation are completely
Definitely,
different.
yeah. But yeah, I think that is definitely the biggest challenge. But I have to say, I personally wouldn't say I suffer through this. I think, obviously I get a shitty comment here and there, but I would say it's very, very tame.
Yeah.
That's actually a positive. I think it's an unexpected positive, because the second part is, what is one unexpected positive?
We have picked a genre within social
media.
media that's a lot nicer.
It's not that crazy.
No.
Yeah, I think that is nice.
Very rarely does anything come up. Very rarely. And if it does, it can kind of, tug on the heartstrings a bit and make you a little bit self-conscious
we were
and
like,
upset. But you get over it. Like this morning, I had a bad review. I got over it. I would love to know what goes through people's minds when they post and say stupid, horrible stuff like that.
It's
like,
always a reflection on them. That's just the one thing. You're just like, whatever 100%. They say, it just says so much more about them. But at the end of the day, that's so easy to say. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's still hard. Like, if you get these comments and you wake up and, it's still...
I've been through it,
I've gotten my fair share. But I think overall, I expect it to be much worse.
Yeah.
Much worse. Given the audiences that we can reach, I would have expected it to be so much worse.
You have to be a little bit tolerant too.
Yeah.
Even just flicking through random people's stuff, I see stuff and I want to say something so bad.
Yeah, but you don't have to say it, you know what I mean? No. You can think it, that's fine. Do you sometimes feel like you are thinking only about plants you got or wish to get? I would say this is literally never the case. Never for me.
I do have a mental wish list, but and it was definitely more prominent when I first started. Like I was like,
in that accumulation phase kind of.
But I think
maybe I need to do a graph.
As I got more and more...
I want to do a graph about the journey.
Look, kudos to the people that come into my greenhouse. Actually, this weekend, the lovely lady came to my greenhouse and she pulled a piece of paper out of her pocket and she had a physical list. I think it was more for what she wanted to get on the day.
Yeah, okay.
But there are people that have physical written down wish lists. I have ADHD. That list would change hourly. Hourly. 1 minute I'm into carnivorous, I kill oh no, I don't like carnivorous anymore, I'm going to go begonias. Yeah. That list is non-existent. There are some things that mentally I have in the back of my mind, like, oh, I really like one of those, only because I see it quite a lot, like people I know have them. But it's not something that I think about all the time.
Cara just literally the worst snack for a podcast.
I'm so terrified for you editing and all years.
I don't care.
The entire time. Like, I don't hear it very... Like, when I know we can hear it more in our heads when we're crunching it. But, like, that's a normal crunch. That's a nice crunch. It's a fresh...
Well, maybe people came for a
crunch.
I think the reason why we are not constantly thinking about plants or things that we want to get is because we're actually constantly thinking about our business. I constantly think about content.
Oh my God.
Constantly think about content. I have this plant that desperately needs repotting, but I need to film the repotting as part of my 1 year fucking transformation of this plant.
Oh my God.
And I have procrastinated for 2 weeks because I can't be asked to get the air out mix from downstairs and then set up the camera and it's rainy.
I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, God, you must hate that. Having to go down there.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And that's not a bad... Anyway, the problem is really I also wasn't in the best camera mood last week, to be honest. Like, it's fine when I'm with you, but by myself, I just wasn't really like, let's sit down there.
You're going to go through those peaks and troughs,
exactly.
though. That's just how it is.
But I constantly think about content. Everything that I do, every time I touch a plant, I'm like, should I turn this into content? Can I turn this into content? How can I make this... So I don't think about plants, I think about content. And you probably think about... Restocks.
Shipping.
And all of this stuff.
Bookings.
New business ventures.
I have like a mental game in my head. Like, am I going to beat last week's takings? Like,
yeah.
And I'm like
revenue,
constantly looking at reports.
Constantly looking at my revenue. I constantly look at comments.
I love looking at my reports. They're the best.
I constantly look at comments.
Especially when I'm doing well. When I'm doing shit, I want to cry.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, why is this so? It's like, let's go to the pub.
Yeah, I just like to switch off from the world. Yeah.
How many philodendrons do each of you have? Perhaps a small competition. I have never counted all of my plants. I have more philodendron than you though, in my private collection. 100% more.
I don't even know how many I have.
Yeah, I don't know, but I have 100% have more than you.
I reckon you probably do.
So I win the competition. That's all that matters.
Okay.
Thank you.
I honestly, that's another thing I've never done. I never, from day one, never counted how many plants I had.
Me neither. I always should say 150, but I said 150 already 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think I remember when I first started getting them. This is another thing too that I do. I don't know if this is ADH people, but there are plants that you've got plants. They're like plants, but that is not a plant. That's part of the furniture.
Are you telling me this is one plant?
No.
And then the teeny tiny thing over there is also one plant?
This is furniture. This is art.
This is art, girl.
Yeah.
What is a plant, just one, that either of you have that you never would have thought of growing a couple of years ago? Maybe because it was too expensive, maybe because you weren't really into it. Natives. I grow some natives on my balcony now. I would have never thought I'm growing natives.
I would have never thought I would have gotten a variegated Rhaphidophora tetrasperma.
Love both of you and your content. Working on about 30 moss pulps with Monsteras, Philodendron, Pothos. AJ, are your mixes similar to SPG's mix for moss pulps?
That's a great question. No. The difference is he loves heavy stuff in his... Are we talking about arrow mix?
Yeah, chunky. Yeah.
You love heavy stuff in your arrow
really
mix
chunky.
Because you have a lot of poles standing, big, established plants. I go for a more neutral mix that's a lot lighter because I hang things in my greenhouse. Also, the mix I create, because I have a mix that's available to purchase on Growing Grounds. What is it? I don't even know my own website. Anyway, whatever. I'm sure you insert it somewhere.
Why is growinggrounds.square, no?
Square site. Oh yeah, but I spelled Growing Grounds wrong. Do not judge me.
In the website title, yes. And you can't change it.
I can't change it. I know. Anyway, long story. So anyway,
just click the link.
So yeah, I go for a much more lighter.
Another tip for your entrepreneur. 2 questions ago.
Don't just put
know your spelling.
So I make a mix. I use tons of different grades of the lighter amendments than you use a lot of heavier stuff because you've got heavier poles, whereas I don't.
When you say heavier, you mean chunkier, which makes it actually lighter. Your mix is heavier. If we would take...
No, yours is physically heavier. Yours...
No.
Yes, it is.
Abso-fucking-lutely not. Mine weighs nothing.
Yours. You use like
the
pumice.
The pumice is heavy, but okay, if you replace pumice with perlite.
And you use chunky bark, that's heavy.
But none of my stuff retains water. If it's watered, if you water your mix and yours would probably absorb more water than mine, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I would say it's heavier.
So mine
heavier on the water retention.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yes, correct.
If that makes sense.
Heavier on the water retention side, but no, physically heavy. Yours is physically heavier as well in weight without being watered. Whereas mine's lighter because I hang things. I make mine a lot lighter. I use a lot more perlites and vermiculites, but different grades. Whereas you use more...
Chunky, everything as chunky as possible,
which
usually.
They're both great, but again, both used in different ways. And the reason why I make my mix the way I do is because I've got customers coming in buying 3 different freaking plants, and I'm like, okay, so we can skim the chunky stuff off the top for the Monstera, but for the begonia, let's take the base stuff that's a lot finer, and we'll add a little bit of the mix that's already in, bit of the soil, and keep it nice and sandy, light, and different plants need different things.
It just comes back to principles. There's not one way of constructing a medium. You want to have a good balance of aeration, drainage, water retention, and nutrient retention.
And not all of those mediums are available to everyone around the world. So
exactly.
You really have to adapt things that are going to work for you.
I love your content, and of course the More SPG channel. My second channel.
Oh, yes.
You really inspired me to grow aeroids and fall in love with the hobby. Did you guys think that you would be here 10 years ago, business-wise, and loving that you are doing in life?
I didn't think I was going to be here this morning.
Actually, to be honest. I think we kind of answered that when we went through what we would have done otherwise, but...
What we would have done otherwise, but it is still a shock that we've come
Yes.
this far. And I'm really proud of us. I was saying this yesterday, and you were even saying how we need to...
Acknowledge our
We need to
achievements a
acknowledge
little more,
and be
yeah.
proud of ourselves and celebrate the achievements, big or small.
But
Because
to be
let's
honest, yeah.
face it, they're all big because we're doing things to make them happen. But I think it is... If you were to ask any of my childhood friends and or even just like teenage friends or people or early 20 friends, if they could picture me doing something like this, they would definitely say no. They'd be like, absolutely not. I was just a party queen as a young person. Yeah, you were the same actually. I think that's almost why.
When we do something,
Yeah.
we go really hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think we both found this hobby because it was the only thing that was going hard at home with cup of teas.
Definitely not the only thing that's going hard at home.
Your dirty brain.
I'm not, yeah, fair enough. I'm sure everybody else thought that too. I bought a beautiful Libisia turtleback from AJ Stall at the plant fair. Whoop, whoop.
Yes.
What's the best and safest way to propagate this? Do
Not
you know?
yet. That's the safest way.
Just wait.
You only just got it, girl.
Yeah.
Just wait. I think if you have a look on, I always tell people, go online, go on Google.
No, she said I went on Google and couldn't find anything.
No, but not about propagation. The reason I send people to Google is go and Google mature form. I always tell them, go Google mature form. Have a look how it's going to turn out. Have a look at where, like, most times if you Google mature form, you'll see
the
people,
nodes and everything.
yeah, and you'll see where it's growing. Sometimes you see where it originally came from. Go do mature form. You'll see, I'm pretty sure Libisia, once mature, whether you'll get it there or not completely is another thing. But once mature, it's kind of shrub-like. So
It might even like propagate itself. You know, I mean, send out little pups.
set up pups, which it does quite frequently. If you can do like a top chop,
Yeah.
that'll then help it shoot out a bit more, but takes time and it's too cold. Wait.
Yeah, not
Be
right
patient.
now. Good one. We love
Be
that.
patient until spring.
Have either of you pollinated an Alocasia frydek?
No, but I've got about 50 bloody corns.
But have
in my
you
house.
ever pollinated any Alocasia?
I did try once. I don't think I got the right time frame with both of them. But there are a couple of alocasias out there that I know of that are self-pollinating, but to be honest with you, you got to kind of get them to that point where they're like hella mature.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've never really heard of anybody doing Alocasia pollination.
No.
Really, like,
Medicaladium.
I mean, like, people do philodendron. I mean, everybody does anthuriums, but people do philodendron
Yeah.
as well. But I've never really.
I have a feeling they're probably not one of the easier ones to
Yeah,
pollinate.
otherwise it would happen, right?
I mean, you get a lot of cross hybrids.
Yeah,
So it's
but they all come. A
doable.
lot of them come out of tissue culture these days.
Yeah,
so.
but that's somewhere I need to do a bit more research. I don't know.
Yeah, I've never tried.
Yeah.
I have no desire either. Oh, next one is fun. Andy wants you to say some German words. Please make her pronounce something funny.
Abracadabra.
Apfelsaftschorle.
Apfelsaftschorle.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the hell?
Apfelsaftschorle.
Let's get a tongue twister. Katzen kratzen im Katzenkasten.
Wait.
Die Katzen
Die
kratzen
Katzen kratzen
im Katzenkasten.
Katzenkasten.
Kasten, not Kasten.
Custard. Die Kasten in Kasten.
This one is good. Fischers Fritz.
Fisches Fritz.
Fischt frische Fische.
Frische.
Frische Fische fischt frischer Fritz.
Fritz.
You're not that bad. You're actually pretty good.
What was that though?
It's just a tongue twister. It's like Fisherman Fritz. Fishes fish.
Teach me that song. I want.
No, I don't want to do the Barbara wrong. Oh, this one. That's the word. That Streichholzschächtelchen.
Wait, hold
A
on.
box of matches is Streichholzschächtelchen.
Okay, hold on. Slow down. Do it again.
Streich.
Streich.
Streich. Streich. Jesus. Streich.
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 I don't know how to do it yet.
Streich.
Streich.
Holz.
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 What are you going to do? Holz.
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 Holz. Streichholz.
Streichholz.
Schächtelchen.
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 Schäch. Tu. Schön. Schächtelchen.
Schächtelchen. Düde. Schächtelchen. 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 Aber dieses Streichholz-Schächtelchen.
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 I think it was pretty good.
Streichholz-Schächtelchen.
Streichholz-Schächtelchen.
Streichholz.
It's hard even for me to say that, actually. I have to say. Streichholz-Schächtelchen. We're doing well. You did well. You did better than most people, I think.
I like German, but it's just, there's no way, like, I would understand what I was saying, because it's just so wildly
It's
different.
wild. I don't even understand. Like, I kind of inherently know, but it's wild to think of.
There's not, like you
what's
have
happening.
to really study that hard to
Absolutely
get it.
wild to think about, like, that my brain actually makes it happen.
Do you think in German sometimes?
Hardly.
I think I've asked you this before.
Yeah, hardly ever.
You think in English?
I dream in
wild.
English. I count in English.
Well, that's good though, I guess. Yeah.
Well, it's been 12 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time. But did you speak English when you were home? Like, was it like a with friends thing?
Like, there's some English words that we just...
I spoke Bogan a lot, and then I got really posh when I
Not really. I learned it in
Okay.
school, but I really learned English in Australia, I'd say.
Yeah.
Last question.
Last
finally.
question.
Oh my god, maybe it's not even a question. There's no question mark. Okay, hang on. Hey, Jan and beautiful AJ. Excuse me, am I not beautiful? I just get Jan. You get beautiful AJ. Now with the Philodendron verrucosum, you keep saying keep moist. Is it okay to just keep the area where the roots are or water the entire pot? And do you keep the moss pole moist every day or can you allow it to dry out or not?
Well, it depends what you try. I would let it dry out so it's like damp to the touch. Like you can feel
Yeah, but
it's
then
still
it's not dry,
spongy.
then it's damp.
Like, but not like bone dry. Because what happens with the sphagnum moss when it goes hydrophobic? It
Well,
traps
she doesn't
the roots.
necessarily. Is it on a pole? No, she said it refers to the pot, not the pole.
It really depends how big it is. You got to really like. I always tell my customers really focus in on your knowing where your root system is. Is it in the pot? Is it in the pole yet? When it's cooler temps, you don't fill that pole up the whole way. That's my recommendation. I don't know about you, but in spring, summer, go for gold, but just be really aware of where the root system actually is. Because like some people get really worried to overwater and they're watering their pole only a little bit and it's not even making it down.
Yeah.
And they're not watering the pot at all.
Or they're misting the surface and they're actually
It's not
like
getting
in
in
the
there.
middle is completely dry.
Yeah.
I think it comes that I definitely agree with be more conservative during cooler seasons or
Yes.
cooler temperatures. If you're growing indoors, however, and you're heating your place,
Yeah.
you could actually need more water during the cooler season because it's actually warmer and drier.
Indoors. I forget
You know what I
about
mean?
that.
So
The
I mean,
heat-
you're
the heater
growing in
sucks
the
it out the air,
greenhouse,
right?
right? But in general, yes, cold and wet, really bad combination. So be more conservative when it's cold. Be less conservative when it's warm. And yes, you're watering the root system. You're not watering the pole for the sake of the pole. I just happen to water all of my poles upside down because it's just the easiest way for me to go about it. If I need to walk around with a pressure sprayer and spray them all, I make a mess and it takes forever. Whereas I just pop bottles upside down.
Yeah.
First of all, it's much faster. Plus, the water is going to sit, the top of the pole is going to
Gravity.
dry out first.
Yeah.
All of the water is going to drain through. So if I do the water upside down, I probably only need to do that every 7 days for a plant that's just about to start growing up the moss pole. Whereas if I would just mist the surface down there, I
yes.
might potentially have to do that every day or every second
that's
day.
another really good
So-
point. Not only does the environment become a really important thing to think about when you're watering, but the maturity of the plant too,
Yeah.
because the roots take up a lot of moisture. If there's no roots,
What's gonna is the
there's-
plant currently actively growing? If it's producing a new leaf, that leaf is gonna need more water than if the leaf wouldn't be forming, right?
not a huge amount, but
Yeah, but I mean, compared to dormancy,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? If a
100%.
plant is dormant, doesn't show any sign of growth.
Yeah.
I mean, some of my leaves are ginormous. Like, yes,
Yeah.
that leaf needs a freaking half a liter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know
you-
this
and
by the
you'll see it
pole.
too,
I
like,
know this by the pole when it.
you've done before and after watering, like time lapse before?
I have this.
Like Oxalis. And stuff
Yeah, or
like
like actually even on the pole, but it's hard to see in that moment. It
Yeah.
only really comes across in the time lapse.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
you
So
can
they do take
sometimes
up
see
quite a lot of
little bit.
water. And then you have, what's the terminology in the mornings when they drip water?
Guttation.
Guttation. So you've got that as well. So
Yeah.
even though you've watered, depending on what your environment's like, your plants will expel quite a lot of water as well. You don't realize it, but there's a lot coming out, and then that gets absorbed by the environment.
Yeah, but also again depends on your substrate. If you have a super chunky aerode mix like I do, you don't really have to worry about overwatering because there's so much drainage and aeration. You could constantly flush water through it and it's fine.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have a very water retentive mix with less aeration, then you could potentially do more harm. With Philodendron verrucosum, however, because it has
do
honestly the most disappointing root system, that's the one plant where I would say, you know, you don't need to let it dry out. Like, I think that's the advice that a lot of people give to very brand new plant people, because it is safer to let your plant dry out a little bit
And a
than
lot.
constantly overwatering it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that that's actually the plant's preference to dry out. The
Yeah.
plant in itself has no preference for drying out every now and then.
No, it's
That
just
is
because of
just
the
a-
environment we put it in.
Exactly. That's just
Yeah.
like a more safe
So,
way to avoid overwatering.
In a nutshell, for you berries do like to be a little bit more on the moist side. I say moist, not sopping wet. I think just take into account what medium you've got it in and then adapt it to that, realistically.
Nice.
Nice. It's hard. It's hard to give all of the right advice. That was a shit fucking high five.
We're really bad at high
I can
five
do it
today.
again. Hey, that was a good one.
We went through all of them.
We did. We got through all of them.
So, AJ, I like people leaving an emoji. What's the emoji?
This emoji is going to
A carrot. It has to be a
yeah,
carrot.
veggies.
Leave a carrot.
Veggies.
Leave a veggie emoji if
sure.
you watched it.
God, I hope we
till
didn't
the
went.
end.
I wasn't chewing too loud. I get so conscious about
We'll
that.
find out.
I'm gonna be like a little
If
bunny rabbit.
chewing was too loud, it's just a mukbang,
It's a mukbang.
and that's fine. But we finished all of our veggies. I'm very proud. We finished our
I love
adult
veggies.
juice as well, which is good.
Adult juice.
And I even finished my water. You didn't.
No.
You can touch it.
I hydrate.
Well, we had a lot of water through the veggies.
Yeah,
to be fair.
through my veggies. Oh, that's so good.
Well, that was nice. Let's
Yes.
do this again, maybe.
Yes.
I know the
I
problem
have-
with this is we're never going to be consistent with this one. Between
we
the
can
two of us, as if
well-
we ever going to make this like a weekly
No,
thing. Maybe
we-
a monthly thing.
well,
Monthly, I think, is reasonable.
fortnightly could
Girl,
be good.
you're not the one editing it. Monthly.
No, but maybe I could be.
You need to edit your own videos
Yeah, but maybe
first.
we
I
could
want you to
share.
focus. No, I want you to focus on creating your own
We
videos.
could share. We can
No.
share.
No, I want you to focus on your own videos. No.
I
Yeah.
have a lot of things that I'd love to talk about, that I'd love to get into your head about and see what your opinion is on certain things.
Yeah, for sure. So I think maybe in the comment section leave something, not necessarily a direct question, but maybe leave like a topic that
Yeah,
you would like us to
topics,
explore.
definitely.
You know what I mean? The topic could be, for example, business, or it could be like a business management
be
kind of. It
mental health, like plants
It
and
could be
mental
social
health.
media. It could be content
Yeah.
creation. Like what's
Definitely.
your equipment? What equipment are we using, and so
Yeah.
on. So whatever
we're
you
not
guys.
we're not professional. Well, you bloody are, but I'm not a
No,
professional.
not at
but I've
all,
still
but-
watched you go through the stages you have, and so I've somewhat kind of have. But I've also done things where I bought a lot of things that I've just not ever used.
AJ actually has the exact same equipment
I
as me.
do.
We shared it, yeah.
But I have started using the smaller camera, which I really love.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's more about I just get scared, and I know it's so silly.
That's why I want you to focus on your own videos and not
Yeah.
editing this. So let's
We
make
will
it.
get
We're
there.
gonna make it more regular, but we can't promise you how regular.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks. Love
Bye.
you guys. Bye.